Kale knew something was wrong before he could explain it. It wasn't the creature. It wasn't the Raven exiles waiting above. It was him. Something had changed. He stepped back from the center of the chamber, putting distance between himself and the pulsing light, but the feeling didn't fade. If anything, it became clearer, sharper, like his mind was suddenly working faster than his body could keep up with. For a moment, he just stood there, breathing slowly, trying to ground himself in something real. It didn't work. "You feel it, don't you?" the girl asked quietly. Kale didn't look at her right away. His eyes were still on the structure, watching the way it shifted, not randomly, but with intention, like it was constantly adjusting itself. "I don't like it," he said. "That doesn't matter," she replied. It already started. That word stayed with him. Started. Not happening. Not beginning. Already in motion. Kale turned away from the light and moved toward the edge of the chamber, forcing himself to focus on something practical, something familiar. Escape routes. Structure. Distance. Anything that didn't involve whatever was happening inside his head. But even that had changed. He didn't have to think about the layout anymore. He just knew it. The corridor behind them split into multiple paths, some collapsed, others unstable, but one of them, the one to the right, felt different. Not safer, not obvious, just correct. Kale stopped, frowned slightly, then shook his head, almost annoyed at himself. That wasn't instinct. It was something else. "What is it?" the girl asked. Kale hesitated before answering. "I know where that leads." She looked at the corridor, then back at him. "You've never been here." "I know." That was the problem. Before either of them could say anything else, a sound echoed through the structure behind them. Faint, distant, but unmistakable. Movement. Kale turned instantly. His body reacted faster than his thoughts. "Did you hear that?" The girl nodded, but her expression didn't change. "That's not them," she said. Kale's eyes narrowed. The Raven exiles would be loud in a place like this. Heavy boots. Metal scraping. Controlled, but still human. This wasn't that. This was quieter. More precise. Like something that didn't waste movement. The sound came again. A slow drag followed by a controlled step, steady and deliberate, like it wasn't in a hurry because it didn't need to be. Kale exhaled slowly, adjusting his stance. "Stay behind me." The girl didn't argue. They both knew one thing now. They weren't alone down here. Kale moved first, stepping into the corridor he had somehow already mapped in his head. He didn't question it this time. There wasn't space for that anymore. Behind him, the sound shifted. Closer now. It wasn't chasing. It was following. That distinction mattered. The corridor narrowed quickly, forcing them into single file. Broken concrete pressed in from both sides, the ceiling dipping low enough that Kale had to tilt his head slightly as he moved. The air felt different here. Less dead. More active. "Keep moving," he said, his voice low. The girl's steps were uneven again, her earlier injuries slowing her down just enough to matter. Kale noticed immediately, his mind already calculating distance, speed, time. They wouldn't outrun it. Not like this. Another turn ahead. Kale didn't slow down. Didn't hesitate. He turned left before even seeing the full path. And it worked. The space opened slightly, giving them more room to move, more angles, more options. That wasn't luck. Kale felt it again. That same alignment. The structure wasn't just around him anymore. It was inside his head. "Kale," the girl said, her voice tighter now. He didn't need to ask. He could hear it too. Closer. Much closer. And then, it stopped. Right behind them. Kale froze. Just for a second. That was all it took. A shape moved in the darkness at the end of the corridor. Not fast. Not aggressive. Just stepping forward into view. Kale felt his body lock before his mind caught up. Because what he was looking at was wrong. It looked human. Same size. Same structure. But the way it held itself, the way it moved, it felt like something pretending to understand what a human should look like. Too controlled. Too exact. Its head tilted slightly. Not curious. Not confused. Analyzing. Kale didn't raise his weapon. He didn't need to. He already knew one bullet wouldn't matter. The thing looked at him. And then spoke. Identify. The word hit him immediately. Not just in his ears. In his head. Same voice. Same presence. The girl stepped back. "That's not a person," she whispered. Kale didn't respond. He already knew. The thing took another step forward, smoother this time. Faster, as if it had adjusted something in its movement. Kale shifted his stance slightly, pulling the girl with him, his eyes locked on it, waiting for the moment it would act. It didn't rush. It learned. Evaluate, it said. And this time, Kale felt it deeper. A pressure behind his eyes. A shift in perception. And suddenly, he could see it. Not just its body. Its movement. Its intention. Before it happened, the thing lunged forward. Fast. But Kale moved first. He stepped to the side, pulling the girl with him in one smooth motion, avoiding the strike by a margin that should have been impossible. The thing missed. Stopped. Adjusted. Kale's heart was steady. Too steady. Because now he understood something. It wasn't just learning him. He was learning it too. And that meant this wasn't just a fight. It was an exchange. A process. And the longer it continued, the less control he would have over where it ended. Run, he said. And this time, they both moved at the same moment. Not reacting. Knowing. Behind them, the thing followed. Not chasing. Evolving. Kale keeps running. But now there's something different in the way his body moves. Like he's no longer reacting to the environment, but already one step ahead of it. The corridor bends sharply, and before he even sees the turn, his weight shifts in the right direction, his balance adjusting without hesitation, as if the path is unfolding inside his mind before it exists in front of him. Behind them, the sound returns, closer this time, no longer distant or uncertain. It isn't rushing, and that's what makes it worse. It's steady, controlled, learning with every step they take, adapting to the space as if it belongs there more than they do. Faster, Kale says, his voice low but firm. The girl tries to keep up, but her movement breaks for a second, just enough for him to notice. That's all it takes. He doesn't stop to think. He just turns, grabs her, and lifts her without warning, adjusting her weight as he keeps moving. It should slow him down, but it doesn't. His body compensates instantly, correcting balance, distributing effort, finding the most efficient way forward without him consciously deciding any of it. That's when it becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't just instinct anymore. Something is helping him. Another turn appears ahead, and again, he doesn't hesitate. He moves through it like he's already been there, like the structure is feeding him the information before he needs it. Behind him, the thing follows, but this time there's no delay, no adjustment period. It's matching him now. That's new. That's dangerous. The corridor begins to open slightly, and for the first time since they ran, light appears again, faint and unstable, filtering through broken concrete and collapsed structures above. Kale sees it and pushes harder, not out of hope, but because it's the only direction left that isn't closed. Then he slows, not by choice, because something ahead forces him to. Movement. More than one. Figures step into view through the fractured light, their silhouettes forming before the details do. Weapons rise almost instantly, precise and controlled, their posture unmistakable. The Raven exiles. Kale doesn't curse. He doesn't react outwardly. But inside, everything shifts again, recalculating faster than it should, faster than he should be able to process. Behind him, the thing is still coming. Ahead, the exiles are already prepared. There is no clean path anymore. They found us, the girl whispers, her voice barely steady. Kale doesn't answer, because part of him is already working through the outcomes, measuring distance, angles, reaction time, probabilities. It doesn't feel like thinking. It feels like knowing. He studies them for a fraction of a second, and suddenly the space between them becomes clear. The positioning, the slight imbalance on the left, the delay in one of their movements, the way their aim is ready but not yet committed. They're prepared, but not for something unpredictable. Behind him, the sound shifts again, much closer now, almost within reach. That's when Kale makes his decision. Stay down, he says quietly. And then he moves. Not forward, not back, but sideways, cutting into the unstable structure between both threats, forcing the situation into something neither side is fully ready for. The Raven exiles react instantly. One of them fires, the shot cutting through the air, missing Kale by a margin that should have been impossible. But he's already moving again, his body adjusting before the danger fully registers. The thing reaches the chamber behind them at the same time. Everything changes at once. One of the exiles turns toward it, weapon raised, but he's too late. The thing closes the distance with a movement that feels wrong, too precise, too controlled, and grabs him in a way that isn't violent at first. That's what makes it worse. Because it doesn't attack immediately. It pauses, just for a second, like it's deciding what to do. Kale sees it, even while pulling the girl forward, even while moving away from the chaos behind them. It's not reacting. It's learning. Don't stop, he says, more sharply now. They push forward, out of the structure and into the open ruins, but the relief never comes. Behind them, the sound cuts off suddenly, and that silence is worse than anything that came before. Kale doesn't need to look. He already understands. Something just changed back there. The Raven exiles don't break formation completely. They adjust, shifting positions, weapons still raised, but there's hesitation now, something new entering the equation. They don't understand what they're facing yet. Kale does, or at least more than they do. Because this isn't a fight. It's a process, and every second that thing exists, it becomes something else. Kale slows slightly, finally setting the girl down once they reach partial cover between collapsed structures. His breathing remains controlled, too controlled, and that bothers him more than the danger itself. We need to get away from here, he says. The girl shakes her head almost immediately. No, that won't work. Kale looks at her, frustration starting to break through. What do you mean it won't work? She glances back toward the underground entrance, toward the darkness they just escaped from, her expression tightening in a way it hadn't before. If we run, it follows, she says. Kale's jaw tightens. And if we don't? She hesitates. Not long, but enough. It changes you. That lands heavier than anything else. Kale exhales slowly, looking between the ruins, the exiles, and the entrance behind them. And for the first time since this started, he understands the real problem. There isn't a way out. There's only a direction you choose to go. Behind them, movement begins again. Not just one. More. Something else is coming up. And whatever is happening below isn't staying there anymore. If you're enjoying stories like this and want to dive deeper into mind-bending sci-fi that makes you question reality itself, make sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to drop a like. Thanks for watching. See ya.